Welcome to the Advise Show, media with the common sense approach. So there's a commercial that's been circling around the internet from 1964 called Confessions of a Republican. Now, this man is speaking about the rise of Senator Goldwater, which this man was a racist. This man was against the Civil Rights Act, and he wanted to segregate once again, and he promised that once he get in office, he would get rid of the Civil Rights Act. And mind you, presidential candidate Hillary Clinton worked on this man's campaign. She really was trying to help him get elected, but we will show all that evidence and her even admitting to it in another video today. Now, I want you to hear exactly what this man is saying in this commercial, and let's see how this can relate to today. Let's go ahead and roll the clip.
I certainly don't feel guilty about being a Republican. I've always been a Republican. My father is, his father was. The whole family is a Republican family. I voted for Dwight Eisenhower the first time I ever voted. I voted for Nixon the last time. But when we come to Senator Goldwater, now it seems to me we're up against a very different kind of a man. This man scares me. Now maybe I'm wrong. A friend of mine has said to me, listen, just because a man sounds a little irresponsible during a campaign doesn't mean he's going to act irresponsibly. You know that theory that the White House makes the man. I don't buy that. Sometimes I wish I'd been at that convention in San Francisco. I mean, I wish I'd been a delegate. I really do, because I would have fought, you know? And I wouldn't have worried so much about party unity, because if you unite behind a man you don't believe in, it's a lie. I mean, when the head of the Ku Klux Klan, when all these weird groups come out in favor of the candidate of my party, either they're not Republicans or I'm not. I've thought about just not voting in this election, just staying home, but you can't do that, because that's saying you don't care who wins, and I do care. I think my party made a bad mistake in San Francisco, and I'm going to have to vote against that mistake on the 3rd of November.
Vote for President Johnson on November 3rd. The stakes are too high for you to stay home.
The one thing that really stands out for me in this commercial is this man is pointing out the fact that white supremacist groups are supporting a candidate within his party. That really bothered him. And it should bother you if you are a Republican. What is Donald Trump doing to attract white supremacists? He's blowing the dog whistle. Now, you know a dog whistle, only a dog can hear it, the rest of you can't. And what you mean by the dog whistle, Philip? I mean that the same thing that the Klan used to recruit people, that's what Donald Trump is doing within his rallies. It's the immigrants. It's illegals. They rapists. They're murderers. It's the Islam. It's Muslims. It's this one. It's that one. It's everybody else's problem. And it's quite funny. The party of personal responsibility, it's amazing how they blame everybody else, and they never take responsibility for nothing they do. They don't take responsibility for the wars they put us in. They don't take responsibility for the debt they put us in, and constantly talking about everybody else and blaming everybody else, but they take no personal responsibility. But when it comes to you, you should take personal responsibility. You should watch your actions. You shouldn't need the government for this and that and the third. But they the main ones crying about the government and the economy right now, what they want the government to do for them. See, they are some hypocritical people. But what this man is saying, any person who is a Republican, listen to this, what this man is saying. He is a Republican. That's all he voted was Republican. And just really have some common sense. Donald Trump is not the person to do it. I'm sorry. He ruined that himself. I'm not saying he didn't have great ideas. I'm not saying that he couldn't possibly solve a few problems or two. But this man's ego, he's a narcissist. He's all these things. He gonna get this country in trouble with world leaders and reputation and everything else. It's everybody else's fault, but it's never the Republicans' fault. And they're going to sit here and support this guy. And you actually have some people on the Republican side that I can say, okay, they could be decent people like Rand Paul. He was a decent person, I think. And the Republicans should have got behind him. But no, he wasn't cussing, fussing, saying nasty things, saying things against women, against different groups of people's religion, everything. No, he wasn't doing that. You know, he was politically correct. You know, the way Donald Trump uses politically correct, he used it as an excuse just to say what he want to say. Well, I'm not politically correct. What is political? What you saying? No, it's called having tact. It's called having class. You know, I was watching Barack Obama the other day speak with the media and with the Prime Minister of Canada, and I was watching how classy this man is. And then you look at Donald Trump. He's like trash. He's a rich piece of trash. The way he speak, the way he act. But anybody else can get away with that. But because you got a little money behind you and who you are and all this other stuff, nobody calls you out to the carpet. That's what I think about Donald Trump in comparison to Barack Obama. He is a piece of trash, the way he responds. How is it you're going to have little children watching your rallies and you encouraging to beat people up? And then when he was recently called on the carpet about little white kids telling Hispanic kids that when Donald Trump's elected, they're going to deport you. Oh, he don't want to hear that. That's a nasty question when he was told on MSNBC the other day. But this is the hate that hate is birthed. Because, see, Donald Trump, in a way, represents America. He embodies America, a dark portion of America that exists. Arrogant, cold, violent, got money. Nobody can tell him nothing. It's everybody else's fault. Donald Trump represents that. He is the embodiment of a section of America. That's why they follow this man like that. And really, Donald Trump is what we have described America to be toward us as the black people. He's it. Everything that you see with this man, that's it. And nobody like it. But that's who we've been talking about for the past 400 years, Donald Trump. And people like him, maybe just a little bit more violence. Please listen to this commercial over and over and consider what this man is saying. Make sure you support independent media, which is a grassroots movement. We have the link in the description box to our Patreon. Consider supporting us monthly. Hit me up in the comments, future commentaries, subscribe.